like this, you would take that on your Easter Sundays. We take a look at the grid for the second and final race, the Trico Trans Am Series here at Mount Panorama. Golding and Hazelwood on the front row, Nathan Hearn and Elliot Barber in the Chevy Camaro, Jordan Cox and Jared Hughes on row number 3, Blake Tracy, who's been cleared to race, we'll talk about that in a moment. Ben Grice starts out of 6, Adam Garwood and Ben Bargwan are on row 5.
A little bit further back, Jack Smith for SCT Logistics, Lockie Everett, Chase Hoy and Ben Gomersal. Dad's in the big race later today. James Moffat off the 8th row of the grid. There will be moves for the LMCT Plus driver. Josh Thomas on the 9th row alongside that man Haynes. Ayrton Hodson, the Kiwi, alongside John Hollinger a little bit further back. And then there's Mark Bailey, Webster, Coulter, Robbie Farr in a rebuilt high-tech oils car. The sprint car legend making a Bathurst debut today, and a whole list more. But there was some breaking news around Blake Tracy, Matt. He's not had a pleasant morning.
No, he's woken up with a Bathurst bug, which, as you recall, I had a few years ago. He's been in the medical centre all the morning, and he's been cleared to race, but we'll see how long he goes out there today in car number 5, one of the rookies in this year's series. It's just a horrid way to be up here. I mean, it's always around when we come to Mount Panorama over the years, but compounded if you have to drive one of these cars.
Wish him all the well. We endured you being ill a couple of years ago, so
it's not fun.
It can't be good being behind the race car. It must be worse. But we look forward to this. Golding was so impressive yesterday. Incredible lap in qualifying to snatch pole position away right at the very end of the session from Nathan Hearn. Smashing records in terms of qualifying lap times for Trans Am cars here at Mount Panorama. But G. Hazelwood looked really sensible yesterday. Championship leader, having won the opening round at Symmons Plains a month ago. He was second. He had a little run at Golding on the final lap, but there was an element of, do you know what, if I finish second, it's all good. I'm just accumulating championship points. Very, very smart, intelligent race car driver, Todd Hazelwood. He knows this is a long game.
Keeps him comfortable at the points, at top of the points after dominating the first round. Nathan Hearn has replaced the entire ECU unit on his car. They believe there was a burnt wire or a crimped wire in his car that's been affecting the top end speed. He was some 15 k's an hour slower coming down Conrod Straight. So watch the Blue Gold Industries car inside row number 2. Former champion in this category. With ahead, James Golding. His 3rd straight win here yesterday at Mount Panorama after that blistering qualifying time of 2:09.1 after the checkered flag. He's got the reigning champ alongside him for TFH Racing in a brand new car for 2025. Elliot Barber, does he dare to dream more than enough second places for the sure number 100, normally in the Pioneer DJ colours, with the lone bow tie in this group of Mustangs as we take the view from Jordan Cox. Chasing some electrical dramas to get their mechanical issues yesterday once again. What's the Schaeffler Mustang got for us as here they come. The charge of the Trico Trans Am and a full grid of cars waiting for the lights to go out. The curtain raiser to the High-Tech Oils Bathurst 6 hour, and it begins right here, right now. Here comes Jordan Cox down the inside. Golding will lead us through. We're 3 wide, excuse me, into turn number 1. And someone had to give. It was the sure microphone entry of Elliot Barber, hung out to dry, and a big shower of dust from his Chevy Camaro clouds the 40-car field. As they climb the hill for the first time, we're still 3 wide. Kralsey, where's this going to go?
Oh, this is wild. There's cars with wheels off the ground. Who gives way here? Ben Grice on the outside, hanging on Blake Tracy as well. They're side by side for the lead. Hazelwood going for Golding here. This could be massive. And there's respect shown between 2 great race car drivers. And Hazelwood slots into 2nd place. How's Jordan Cox though? The full send at turn 1, committed to that move. Didn't care what happened to the other 2 on the outside. He was alongside far enough. He's got himself up to 3rd. Remember, started race 1, 10th. Great stuff from the Schaeffler driver.
Across the Mount Panorama we go for the first time. Past that high-speed shot, all different kinds of lines, a lot of confidence in the mid-pack there, glancing that curve. Jared Hughes has come up 1 position, and on the tail of Nathan Hearn coming down the hill. So we settle into this one, down through the dipper, on their way down to Forest Elbow for the first time. Golding, Hazelwood, Cox, Nathan Hearn, Jared Hughes, the top 5.
Elliot Barber, 15th, having been run wide on the exit of turn 1. Tumbled down the field. That was Ben Bargwan grabbing a break into the elbow. He's up 1 spot, and we're looking for James Moffat as well. to see where he's worked his way forward, because he started this one right down the back after that penalty. Here goes Hazelwood, pulls out of the toe and has a look at the kink, but there's no room there.
And Golding covers across, but here comes the Schaeffler Mustang. Caught him napping in the middle of the chase, and the Schaeffler Mustang goes ahead of the reigning champ. Pickpockets that position, so he take the view past the ridges from the reigning champ, trying to force the issue on the white and green Mustang ahead, gives him a bit of a knock-knock. Who's there in the final turn? That is lap one in the books, and here comes Jordan Cox. He's on the charge.
We have been waiting for this. Look at Gricey down the inside. Is there room? Mustang on Camaro, you bet there is, but he doesn't get it. Stop! He's gone, he spins. Well, he had the big dig. It's cost Hughes massively as well. He's struggling to get drive out of the gravel trap, but Grice goes around looking for 5th place. It ends up tumbling him down the order. What has been in the water this morning?
You could feel it walking through the dummy grid this morning. There was a lot of tension, a lot of pumped up drivers for this. Here it is on the replay, and down at the chase, first up, Charlie Nash in trouble here. Looks like the front right has collapsed on, or is it a tyre gone on the Tickford Autosport car? That was heavy damage to that with contact with his teammate at Norwell Motorplex Racing yesterday in Nash Morris. So he's limping back, and he's missed the pit entry there incidentally, but this was the move. Grice, little to no grip on the inside going into Hell Corner. Hughes just got out. The safety car's been called while this has been going on, and Hughes was lucky to get out of this.
But it's dropped him a long way down the order. So like Elliot Barber at the start of the race. So Barb's jumped down to 15th. He's back up to 12 through all of that going on. A few updates for you. James Moffat up to 8th position, and this is why we're under the control of the Bathurst Mazda safety car. Nash Morris up to 23rd position now from the back of the field after a DNF in race 1. So a couple of movers and shakers that this safety car will actually help. It'll close the pack back up. Ben's got that car fired, so hopefully he can be recovered, but we need to get young Charlie Nash's car dug out of that very deep gravel trap down at Murray's.
And Charlie just couldn't get that car across to pit lane with the amount of cars that were sailing past him at high speed. So the safety cars come early here at Mount Panorama in race number 2, and there is the Tickford Autosport car, the Chris Pappas car from the last couple of seasons, and parked well and truly down there. Couldn't tell if that was a tyre or there's been contact with a wall there perhaps on the 55 car. So he's parked down there. And also Chase Hoy, DeCandelo Steel City Chevy Camaro, facing the wrong direction. He's doing the Mark Crutchaway, parking down the hill. And watch how tall Chase is when he gets out the car.
Wow.
He's well over 6 foot, and was saying to me last night in the paddock, about late in the race yesterday, he was starting to suffer from cramp. And they're asking for the firewall to be moved a little bit forward on that car, because he's right in there. He's one of the tallest guys we've got in the field. The young West Aussie that's getting his first start here in 2025 for Hollinger Racing.
Wow, moving the firewall's not a particularly easy job, so good luck to them if they get permission to do that. Flat toe for, well, a quick lift truck there for Ben Rice's car, so there must be more damage than it seemed on the outside, but it looked like it was just a spin. Backed the car into the corner and it spun around, but there was contact as well. There's Charlie Nash, who's going to get tracted out of that very deep gravel trap down at Murray's Corner. And the field takes a pause and breathes under the control of the Bathurst Mazda safety car. So James Golding, Jordan Cox. We have been waiting for something like this from Coxie since joining this category, and that was excitement plus from the Sydney sider in the opening laps. Noons?
Rich, plenty of drama. I mean, we saw plenty of it yesterday, but I just saw Charlie Nash off in that sand trap. They're going to try to snag him back out and drag him back out of there. But I'd just been into the Norwell Motorplex team earlier, because remember yesterday, Nash Morris and Charlie Nash, who are sister cars, got together when Nash was trying to recover after that contact with James Moffat at the elbow. I spoke to Richie Swan just before. He's seen it all here at Bathurst over the years, but they fixed up that Nash Morris car fine. It's good to go today, so expect him to charge his way through, but their challenge has been cut in half here, and it's always fun for commentators when you've got one bloke with the first name Nash and the other bloke with the surname Nash. Got a funny feeling we're going to run into some more dramas here today before Nolte trips over Grice and Rice.
It's not a matter of time. Thankfully, Grice has taken himself out of that equation. They've done it so many occasions the last couple of years. Grice and Rice, Nash Morris and Charlie Nash driving for the same team. But his weekend seemingly done here. The Bathurst Mazda safety car leads the field on a postcard-like day here. Hope you're enjoying your Easter long weekend wherever you're watching, whether it's here at this beautiful mountain, or it's across Australia or across the world, it's going to be another ripper edition of the High-Tech Oils Bathurst 6 Hour coming up in just on an hour's time. With qualifying set yesterday, can't wait for that first lap through turn 1 and the climb up through the mountain. It was spectacular. What'd you say, 3.5 minutes yesterday to get the cars out of pit lane?
Yes, yeah. I watched the warm-up this morning, and just as the last car drove out of pit lane, the car that was first out of pit lane was accelerating past up Mountain Straight. So she's going to be a remarkable sight. It looks like we're on for 70 starters. There's been a couple of late withdrawals today with mechanical issues. We'll bring you up to speed with that with our crew in pit lane as we get a little bit closer to race start for the big race this afternoon. But we've still got to get through this. And gee, the thought of a race restart with Jordan Cox in second position has huge excitement potential for me. It'll get you out of bed on an Easter Sunday. Good move on Todd Hazelwood. Her next. Garwood up to 5th place.
Yeah.
So that's a strong performance by the Tasmanian, who's come out of the Touring Car Masters Championship. He won that title last year, driving a Holden Commodore that Jude Bargwanna's now racing. So Garwood, really strong performance from him. Blake Tracy, sickness and all, up to 6th. I reckon this safety car will be the worst thing for him because he's actually going to have time to think about it. Whereas if he's racing at full speed, he won't have time to think about how terrible he feels. Ben Bargwanna, 7th. So we did give him some, don't come in unless you get a good result orders.
He's taking it seriously.
Yeah, joining the broadcast later today. Good effort from he and Dad Jason on the headset. James Moffat up to 8th after the penalty yesterday. Jack Smith inside the top 10 now, up to 9th. And Lachlan Evanet rounding out the top 10 with Davies and Barber recovering after that hip and shoulder at turn 1 up to 12th position.
If you just joined the coverage, here's a sea of replays of what's been happening while the safety car is out here. This was Charlie Nash with damage to the right front of his Tickford Autosport Mustang. Now, when he rejoined, look at the cars on the left side. And while he's just trying to find out where he was, he couldn't get across to pit exit and found the gravel trap down at the final turn. But this was Grice and Hughes, which has dropped Jared Hughes down to 22nd and out of the lead of the TA2 muscle car side of things. That puts Tom Davies into the lead of that battle this weekend. And for Ben Grice, he's going back on the flatbed. So must have been some damage with the steering, maybe going into turn 1. The boys in pit lane may be able to chase that up during this yellow flag period. 27 minutes roughly and a lap remain. The Bathurst Mazda safety car leads with Golding. And again, like yesterday, all the teams had filled right up to the brim with fuel. And they were all concerned if we ran green flag, a lot of cars would have started coughing on the last lap. That again is wiped today.
Yeah, it's a bit of fuel saving, isn't it? It's like in NASCAR behind the safety car when they shut them down and coast on the ovals to save fuel. That's what this safety car will buy them, is just flexibility to go as hard as they possibly can for that run to the checkered flag in the remaining 25 minutes. So recovery is well underway. Our recovery teams have been extremely busy across the course of the weekend. They have been well tested, it must be said, across all of the support categories in true Bathurst fashion. They'll be good to go for the 6 hour race this afternoon, but hopefully we won't see the lights on that Bathurst Mazda safety car for too long, and we'll go back to racing conditions, and James Golding will lead the field back.
So Josh Haynes has come up another 5 positions from 18th and now finds himself in 13th position. Mark Bailey is the leading Pro-Am driver. Sorry, Josh Thomas has gone ahead of him now in the 69 TFH car. The Bailey car being prepared by TFH. If they weren't busy enough, let's add another car into the mix in 2025.
Well, this is like going up to the top of the Blue Mountains on Easter Monday on the road back to Sydney. It's all chocked up on the run up to the cutting because they've got the flat-toed car just up in front that's being dragged up the hill. So this is a little bit of pre-Easter peak hour on the run up Mount Panorama as we get this race reset and good to go.
And be a post-race investigation on the contact between Grice and Hughes down at turn number 1. So Stephen White, who's been helped out up there. There's about 4 people helping this weekend up there, which has taken the pressure off White Dog a bit, and Chris Pither that make the decisions in the Trico Trans Am Series.
Crispy sticking around. Chris Pither, the very experienced Kiwi race car driver, he's going to serve as driver standards chief for the High-Tech Oils Bathurst 6 hour as well, which was a late addition to the roster up in Motorsport Australia Race Control, but a good one just to manage the processes over the course of 6 hours this afternoon. Let's go back to the lane. Here's Noons.
Richard, a sentence I thought I would never say in my motorsport broadcasting career. Robbie Farr has just left the pit lane here at Bathurst. Sprint car Speedway ace, he's just been in for a quick stop. They had to repair that car yesterday. Remember, he hit the wall pretty hard up at turn 2 at Griffin's Bend in yesterday's race. And it looked like from my spot down the lane, they were just taping up that door to get him back going. He's just rejoined, and they have pulled the Charlie Nash Tickford Autosport Mustang now out of the kitty litter at the final corner. So that area is clear. Hell Corner's looking clear. We shouldn't be too far away from a restart soon.
It is a weird sentence, thanks, Noons, to hear that. Robbie Farr leaving pit lane. Doesn't need a push car to help him out there. He was working with the team, with Max Fideau, who's helping him out, and Brad Gartner down at the High Tech Oils Motorsport team last night. It was a lot of superficial damage to the car, but he was down about it because he wanted to just get through the weekend without scarring the car, but improving on his lap times. He felt he was a bit generous on Michael Coulter, letting him through at the top there. He just couldn't see where he was, and by the time he arrived, it was too late, and the car was backwards into the tyre barriers there at Griffin's Bend. So baptism by fire for the legend of Aussie sprint car racing in his first full season in the Trico Trans Am Series. And we're looking good for a restart. The Bathurst Mazda safety car will peel away from the field and head back into pit lane and leave us with 24 minutes plus 1 lap of competition in the second and final race of Trico Trans Am, featuring the TA2 muscle cars here on this famous mountain in Bathurst.
Calm before the storm, really. Everyone will get their brain into gear for what will be a sprint race shootout. And if you cast your mind back to that energy they had at the start of this race with the car sliding around, tyre pressures down, brains looking to get engaged. Noons?
Just a quick one, guys, before this restart. The word in from race control, that turn 1 incident between Ben Grice and Jared Hughes under investigation. That's just come through, so we'll keep you abreast of that one over the course of this race.
And just as you finish that, Noons, it's been confirmed no further action. So they made that decision fairly quickly up there at Motorsport Australia Race Control. So safety car peels away back into pit lane, headed by James Golding. Jordan Cox is second, Todd Hazelwood third, Nathan Hearn. Behind is Adam Garwood, the Maverick Performance entry, and Blake Tracy, completely under the weather today, but driving to the absolute limit in his rookie season. He's sixth ahead of Bargwana, Moffat, Jack Smith, and Lachlan Evanet. Here we go, back to the start line with 22.5 minutes remaining of the Trico Trans Am Series.
How aggressive James Golding, looking to get some tyre temperature aboard the car. You've got to stop weaving when the lights go out on the safety car, so there's 2 kilometres of just biding your time and losing that temperature in your tyre. But away we go. Cox in the tow. The Schaeffler car's got to run here. He's going to pull alongside the race leader, Jordan Cox, looking to lead in Trans Am for the first time. It's a long old way around at Griffin's Bend, and that opens the door for Todd Hazelwood to buy back into this, and the champ gets by. Opportunity for Cox, but it was taken by Hazelwood.
Puts him back to third. In the worth cutting.
Oh,
he gets bumped by Hearn. That'll unsettle the Schaeffler Mustang and bring about 6 more cars to the train. Across Thorman Park we go. So what a game changer that was from Hazelwood's perspective across Mount Panorama, with the race leader a matter of feet ahead. But what's going to happen with Jordan Cox? Nathan Hearn lighting him up. Can't do much across the top of the mountain, but it's spiced up this race. Big dust cloud at the top of McPhillamy Park. It's down the hill we go. Golding, Hazelwood, Cox, Nathan Hearn, and Adam Garwood.
It's been quite a drive from Garwood, hasn't it? Up to 5th place at Tasmanian, going along really well. A little bit further back, there's a bunch of drivers shortcutting at Brock Skyline, among them Nash Morris, who's one of the drivers on the comeback trail. Brief shot of James Moffat, he's up to 7th place. Great recovery drive. Ben Bargwana and Jack Smith in behind him. Hazelwood, here goes Todd. Great run out of the elbow. He's going to be on the outside for the kick. There's a little bump and run perhaps. Side by side, but car 1 back to position 1.
Power to burn from the reigning champ and his brand new Mustang. So the TFH car, the number 1, moves into the lead of this second race, and now Golding with the work to do. This will be a race-long battle as Hazelwood parks it to the middle. The door's open for a moment. He leaves it open enough for a challenge on the way up pit straight. Tucks in behind, and all of a sudden Jordan Cox is there again.
So this has allowed the Schaeffler car to get right back in the mix, and Nathan Hearn as well. but it gets the nose up the inside of Cox, but there was no move in the offing. But Jordan's got a very good run out of turn 1. He'll get side by side. He'll drive on the grass if he has to. This for second. The 33 car's already there. He's clear. And now he'll go out after Todd Hazelwood, who leads the race. This is wild. Banging doors side by side. Nathan Hearn and Adam Garwood. Garwood looking to get into the top 5. Hearn clinging on.
And look who else is there. James Moffat, LMCT Plus Ford Mustang from 16th on the grid. Finds himself in lucky 7 on the tail of Tracy. Ben Barguana not too far away from this group of cars. Look at the slide from Hazelwood up at the top of the mountain. He wants to get out of here.
Well, I feel like he has to.
He has to.
There's so much going on behind him. Hazelwood serenely out in front, but this aggressive pack all trying to chase him down. This has been awesome from Cox. Unbelievable race from Jordan Cox. Yeah, it's been a bit of a yo-yo.
Oh,
He's in the wall! Cox in the wall! The 2-car goes as well. Garwood spins. Oh, man. It was all going so well. Jack Smith is in there as well.
Etten Hodson has joined the party as well. Oh, can you believe that? And it's such a precarious spot of this track. It is so blind down, and more cars arriving, including the T82 leader.
There's some fluid down. We're hearing there's fluid down at the top of the mountain. So something's dropped oil.
Synchronised spinning happening down there.
Trans Am Precision Driving team going on there as they get them all around.
How do you unpick this? Craig Scatella is there as well. Jackson Rice, Robbie Farr, sorry, it is in the high-tech oil Chevy Camaro. Waiting for a gap in traffic here. Lachlan Evanet is there in the Cam GRM number 8. This will test out their reversing and parking skills, because that is a narrow section of Mount Panorama. Wowee, down the top of the mountain we went. So just ahead, was it fluid? Oh, you can see the cars are all stepping out here as well.
Yeah, it was. The slippery surface flag was flying, and the marshals had to get it out of the way on the entry. Drivers left to the dipper. Hearn, this will show it all happen. Oh, tippy toe, tippy toe. How lucky was Nathan? That is Robbie Farr conditions.
There's a big streak of oil down the mountain there. We take it from Cox. Did he got the wall, and watch around the outside. We didn't have drifting on the program this weekend, but we just got a good dose of it coming down the mountain. And there was those slippery surface flags up there. And still these cars trying to Austin Powers their way out of the situation in the middle, while these three just sit back with the popcorn going, guys, let's make this happen. I'm not sure they can get out of here without some assistance. And the second safety car period has been called. You can see that streak just in front of Kira Sabatakis' car. Also joining us, Paul Hadley. In fact, there's quite a lot of cars that have joined this. There'll be at least 6, maybe 9 cars down there that have blocked the track.
Well, and they're going to want to get a wriggle on, because the leaders have gone past the start-finish line and are heading up the top. Jack Smith was involved in that. So we'll reset for you. Todd Hazelwood still leads. Nathan Hearn survived that with the save of the day and gets himself up to second position. Blake Tracy third. James Moffat fourth. James Golding fifth, and Ben Barguana 6th. Elliot Barber, through all of that, has recovered to 7th. Haynes Gomersell Thomas 10th. Morris up to 14th from the back of the field, and we're waiting for the others to catch up. So the safety car A going very slowly, parked up at quite an awkward spot there, and the word we're getting from race control is they're going to stop them at the top of the hill if that track is not clear. And this just another look. So it was Cox first.
Look at Golding though. He was second on the scene. Garwood spun around there. Look at the cars. You can see the fluid down on the ground, and everybody just dancing their way down through the dipper here, because it's such a blind approach. And Jared Hughes picked his way through. There's a bit more contact with Nash Morris in the red 67 Mustang. 3 cars parked in. Here it is from Hearn once again. Down through Brock Skyline.
Watch the car control here. This is amazing stuff.
No grip out there either. And just, you know what, that's all the Speedway experience for Nathan Hearn right there.
Yeah, amazing. This is Jordan Cox, who found the wall much harder. see the slippery surface flag on the left there. So they were warning, but I mean, it's a warning. You don't know how bad it's going to be. It turned out to be really bad. That's Barry Rogers watching on from GRM. Just assessing the damage bill for what they're going to have to do to get these cars turned around for the next round of the championship. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of time until they head up to Hidden Valley for round 3. The supercars event up there in the top end.
The question is where that streak of oil come from, because that was ahead of the leaders. So someone down the field had done that prior to the restart of the race. There's a lot of it up there from Skyline down towards the elbow. So Hazelwood from Hearn, Blake Tracy third, with Moffat, Golding, Bargwanna, Elliott Barber, Josh Haynes 8th. 41st on the grid yesterday to 18th, and now the reigning TA2 Muscle Car Series champion is inside the top 8. So this is on the way down past on. It's a secondary contact, and that's much bigger for the Schaeffler Mustang, and this time it's over for Jordan Cox.
So that's interesting, and we were trying to piece together why Cox didn't come around, because he actually survived that first impact. The question for mine there was, did something break and feed him into the wall further by the elbow, or was there heavy contact from behind, because they were all packed up behind? Aaron?
I just wandered down to GRM to Barry Rogers. This is not how you like to see. We have a car park literally at the top of the mountain there, and a lot of your guys were involved with nowhere to go and nothing to do when the road's affected like that.
Yeah, that's right, Noons. Cox is doing a great job, actually, and I think there's some pretty good vision out there and going across the top of the mountain in the wet, but he's not so good going across the top of the mountain with oil on the track, and obviously caught him out and a bit offline, and oil there got him, and a couple of our boys lined up behind him, but look, they're all having a good go, and it's exciting racing. We don't like to see the safety cars, but yeah, it's pretty exciting watching these Trans Ams.
They just quickly announced in the last few days that there's been a change with Trans Am and TA2. For those who might not know what's happened with these categories.
Yeah, okay, so obviously in Australia we've got the TA2 cars and the Trans Am cars, all the same car, but two different race on two different series, and probably more the Am guys into TA2s and then move into the Trans Ams. And look, I just thought it was, my dad Gary obviously took hold of all this, and we've grown it to a level, and we love our racing, and we want to put our energy into our racing, and the TA2 guys wanted to get it all in one house, and it made sense, and we'll focus on our racing, and hopefully return bigger and better next year for a few more cars. Who knows?
Hopefully we clear this at the top of the mountain. We'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, nice to see a bit more racing, Noons. All the best. Good on you.
Thanks, Aaron. Talking to Barry Rogers, the Rogers family. Absolutely love their sport. A little further debrief, and race control have red flagged this race to allow for the clean-up to take place without the cars circulating. And we've been piecing this together, our team working behind the scenes, just to understand a little bit more about what's going on. And we heard some information that there was a crash earlier. So this is Des Collier, the 63 TFH racing car. And there's a report perhaps that this could be the reason for the fluid being down on the road, and it put one and one together and get 10. We're starting to add up a little bit about how this is all playing out.
There is a TFH team, so one of their cars in the wars. We've got so many of these Trans Am and TA2 cars in their fleet this year. Brett Thomas has invested heavily into not just this, but a whole range of motorsport in this country, and the red flag has come out with just under 12 minutes of racing remaining. There's a lot to clean up from the top of the mountain all the way down to Forest Elbow. And one would think that could be game, set and match for today's event.
Cars will go to the fast lane, pit lane, and line up as if they will do a restart. So the intention here at least is to get this going again, potentially. Lots to unpick here. Hazelwood timed his moves to perfection. Nathan Hearn timed his elite level of driving ability to perfection to navigate all of that and get through it. And Blake Tracy, right place, right time, grabbed a couple of spots. And just confirmation, this is a race suspension, not a declaration. So the race has been suspended, basically push pause on it, and they can resume. That's why the cars are all going to the fast lane of pit lane. And then there is a process to work through to get them restarted, which we hope, because wow, the racing when they've been green has been outrageously good.
Oh, yeah.
We want to see more of it.
And a lot of battle scars from a lot of the cars coming back into the lane. Graham Cheney in the foreground, Domain Ramsey in his CNH trucking car. Behind Jason Pride, he's got a big donut ring down the side of his Harman Transportables car, the Tasman Power Chevy Camaro prepared by Waltec here in New South Wales, and the West Aussie transiting for all the rounds in this year's series. It's invested a lot into sprint cars back in the West. Brought the great Kyle Larson out at the start of the year for a memorable night at the Motorplex, the High Limit International sprint cars. And it wouldn't be Bathurst without the Kangaroos. Hopefully that's as far away from the track they'll stay in the shade for the balance of today.
Well, temporary fencing goes up for events at this place to just keep them sort of corralled, but I did see a rather unique only in Bathurst moment earlier where there were a couple of four-wheel drives corralling a big pack of kangaroos.
Ah, yes.
A mob of kangaroos, I believe is
That's
the
what's
correct
called,
description. Up the back of the campgrounds up towards the inside of the circuit, get them away from Mountain Straight, Griffin's Bend. There's a very busy pit lane, watches on and waits with anticipation to see how this is all going to play out. And we don't think it's going to play out any further. Word from race control is that this race has been officially declared.
No, that's a shame. James Golding sussing out on the left front of his car, but it's all null and void now because the race has been declared officially from Motorsport Australia Race Control with 10 minutes remaining. Unofficially, as it stands, it'll be Todd Hazelwood from Nathan Hearn and Blake Tracy scoring a top 3 result in his rookie season at Mount Panorama. James Moffat, James Golding, Ben Barguana, Elliot Barber. Then Josh Haynes, this weekend's big mover and shaker, the Herzog Steel Ford Mustang, from 41st to 18th yesterday, and will finish in 8th position ahead of Gomersall, who will take the TA2 Muscle Car Series now with Jared Hughes going down the field. In fact, Hughes got back up to 11th in all of that.
Yeah, wow.
It wasn't too far apart between them.
And Barber, what a recovery from him as well, up to a top 6 position after being elbowed out wide, top 7 I should say, elbowed out wide. Hazelwood will win the round and extends his championship lead in Trico Trans Am over Ben Grice. James Golding third. Nathan Hearn, who will be second for the weekend by 1 point over Golding provisionally, will get there. Well, here are the highlights. There are a lot of them in 7 laps of racing in Trico Trans Am here at Mount Panorama at the Hi-Tech Oils Bathurst 6 Hour. Busy at the end. The big send from Jordan Cox up the inside. The outcome of that was Barber off the road. But man, these open laps were hectic.
It was Nash going to the outside of the chase with heavy damage and couldn't find a gap in traffic to get back into the pits and park down in the bunker. This was Grice right down the inside of Jared Hughes, who sent Hughes out. A glance at the Shannon's wall there for the road active suspension Chevy Camaro. Lucky to get out of there. Unlucky for Charlie Nash. That is a very heavy gravel trap, and the youngster parked down there, which would bring out the first safety car of the race.
This was the restart, and it was hugely exciting. At this point, Todd Hazelwood was third. James Golding led the way, but Jordan Cox's car was awesome coming out of turn 1 every lap of this race. This big crash at the top of the hill, we suspect for Des Collier, set off a chain of events that would later, just as we were talking up how well Jordan Cox was going, flew it down on the road. On the run into the dipper, several key contenders. Adam Garwood was having such a great weekend, running in the top 5, the Tasmanian. Jack Smith was in the top 10. He was going well. Several cars caught up, fluid everywhere. Nathan Hearn, save of the day, around the outside, speedway style. And then this a little bit later on, Jordan Cox, bang, big contact. Couple of cars, they were still all sorting themselves out behind, unsure if on his own or helped in that contact, and that brought out the red flag. Todd Hazelwood wins the race. He's 5th from 6th so far this year in Trico Trans Am, and as a result takes a healthy championship lead into round 3 with Ben Grice and James Golding 2nd and 3rd. Hazelwood wins the round over Nathan Hearn and James Golding.
All these results unofficial as it stands right now until further confirmation, with the race suspended and ultimately declared. Todd Hazelwood